What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to All Things Football. In today's live stream, we will be covering the results that happened in the Premier League over the past few days. Now, we're going to start on Friday night with Leicester against Newcastle. Ibs, you said it before the stream, and you said it on the stream multiple times. I think Leicester are going to bottle it. They lost 4-2 to Newcastle. I think it's just a Brendan Rodgers syndrome when it comes to Premier League pushes, whether it's a title push with Liverpool or the Champions League push with Leicester. They're just not going to do it.
Yeah, it's exactly what I said. And it's weird because I thought this is the game that Leicester would win and it'll be the only game they'd win. But in fact, they lost 4-2 at home against Newcastle. And now they have to play Spurs, United, I think it's Chelsea.
Yeah, they have the toughest running.
Yeah, they're going to drop out. I feel like they're going to drop out. I think the difference with this season is I think Leicester fans won't be as frustrated as last season's because now they're in the FA Cup final. So at least Brendan Rodgers has something to fall back on.
Yeah.
Whereas if they just dropped out of the top four, didn't have the FA Cup's final to play in, then I think questions would be asked about Brendan Rodgers, even though he's had a fantastic season overall.
Yeah, the thing is with Leicester is, me personally, I believe they have a decent side. They don't have one of the best sides in the league. I always do feel like they are somewhat overperforming. And when we get to the back end of the season, once the fixtures start to pile up and the fatigue starts to set in, that's when you really get to see the big boys from the teams who are trying to get to that stage. Leicester are trying to get to that stage. Teams like United, City, even Liverpool, Chelsea, those are the real big teams. And you can see them strengthening as the season goes on, if you wanted to say it like that. But Leicester, same thing happened last season. They were odds on to finish in the Champions League spots last year, but somehow they managed to drop out, I think, on the final day of the season when we beat them. And the same thing is going to happen to them this season. They really do need to strengthen in depth because when they did lose Maddison, there was a lot missing from that side, and it was pretty obvious, and the results didn't. They just weren't winning games. They were drawing and losing, and in a way, I feel bad for them, but I guess the Premier League is brutal and it really does different, like, what's the word? Set you aside and it humbles you. It really does humble you. And I think Leicester, they've been here before. And I think they're going to do everything in their power to just cling on to that last Champions League spot. Because as you did say, they have tough games. Like Manchester United play them tomorrow. And that I wouldn't even say that's the toughest game they have, if I'm totally honest. And they're going to be clinging on for dear life.
Yeah, as he said about the depth, they don't have the squad depth. Johnny Evans, who's been crucial for them in defense, was injured in the warm-up, I think, and obviously he couldn't play. So instead they played, I think it was Fofana and Sayonchu. And I think that difference in leadership, that difference in having that partnership changed. Obviously, it was a difference in the game. I mean, you can't really say that's the reason why they conceded 4, but it's still the difference in like having a squad which has depth. As we can see, Man City, they can fully rotate their team. We're going to have to see tomorrow what United are going to do. Obviously, we just played one day ago, and then we're playing tomorrow. We're going to see what we can do with our depth. But yeah, Leicester, they're currently 63 points. The thing is, they could still hang on. They're on 63. West Ham in 5th on 58. And they played the same amount of games. But then Liverpool have a game in hand. So if they win their game in hand, they will be on 60.
Yeah, but that game in hand is against us.
Yeah. So the top of the top 4 battle. I think we'll move on to the next game. Leeds beat Tottenham 3-1. I think that completely ends Tottenham's top 4 hopes.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I think when they got rid of Mourinho and didn't have an actual and adequate replacement to come in straight away, I think even then the top 4 was gone. All respect to Ryan Mason, he's not an experienced manager. He has no experience in the Premier League. I think he was coaching younger sides or something like that within Tottenham, but obviously there's a massive difference between the Premier League and every other league. They were written off when Mourinho got sacked. Maybe sacking him wasn't the best idea at this point in the season. I don't really have anything else to say on Tottenham. It's just, it was all a bit weird. It was a bit frantic and I think a bit reactionary. And maybe Daniel Levy jumped the gun with it. But yeah, they're not they can't. They don't have a chance of getting Champions
But I
League.
mean, VAR was involved again, game-changing moment, whether Harry Kane was offside or not. I mean, if it was a goal, 2-1, and the game changes,
Yeah,
and momentum shifts to Tottenham's favour. Obviously, it wasn't given. At the point, it was 1-1 at the time, and then obviously, I mean, there's still no excuse to conceding another 2 goals for Spurs. Leeds were obviously the better team on the day, and Spurs obviously without Mourinho. Ryan Mason doesn't really have too much experience in the Prem. Well, obviously managing a Premier League team. So, I mean, if Tottenham really wanted to still push for top 4, I mean, Mourinho, if he was still here, you never know what could have happened. And as you said, maybe Levi was too quick to react. And obviously now Spurs, I mean, they're 1 point behind Liverpool, but obviously play the game extra. So
yeah.
it's very unlikely. More likely they'll probably get Europa League, to be fair.
They're actually currently, I think it's them. I'm going to check my phone because of the One Football app. The Europa League.
The One Football app.
Yeah. Thank you for sponsoring next year's video of the Premier League roundup. But the UEFA Conference League, I think people forget about it. It's coming in next season. They're in the only spot for the Europa Conference League qualification. So that is 7th place. That space is up for grabs between teams all the way down, I'd say, to Leeds at a push. Tottenham are on 56 points. Arsenal are on 52. Everton are on 55, but have a game in hand.
Yeah.
So
they could Everton could go up to 5th.
Yeah, if Everton win their game in hand, or if they win their game in hand by 6 goals, because their goal difference, they will go up to 5th. But Everton could win a game and Liverpool and then in the Europa Conference League qualification. I'd say everyone down from West Ham to Leeds is tight. They're all fighting for a space in Europe, whether that's Europa League, a couple of teams Champions League as well. But the Europa Conference League, personally, I obviously don't want to be a part of it because I'm not a fan of a small club. But I think it's something exciting. It's something new. Not like the Super League.
It just sounds like bottom tier.
It definitely is. It is bottom tier, but it gives teams that aren't usually a part of European competition to play in Europe and travel across Europe. It gives fans of teams like Aston Villa to go to Germany. Even though it's not Bayern or Dortmund, you might play against Stuttgart. Obviously not this season, but the lesser teams. I think it will be quite exciting. And to be fair, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, Everton, Aston, they could all qualify for the Conference League next season. And that's technically what they're battling for right now, but it will be exciting.
Yeah, but talking about teams which are at the pinnacle, at the top of the European competition, Chelsea and Man City, as you can see in the title, Chelsea have delayed City's trophy. Obviously, they beat Man City away from home 2-1. Alonso last-minute goal. And hopefully they can do that in 3 weeks' time in the Champions League final. But yeah, it was weird. Like, City changed their whole setup. Guardiola changed the whole team. Like, I think they're playing like 3-3-2-2. If that makes sense. 3-3-2-2. It was such a weird system they played to try and counteract Tuchel's system with Chelsea. And it worked. I mean, they both cancelled each other out at times, but obviously in the end, there was also 1 goal difference that changed the game. So it was quite a close game.
It was confusing for me at first. There's loads of different football apps. There's loads of different interpretations of lineups when they put out, not just Guardiola, but even United, Liverpool, everyone. But I think I'm going to have to, I don't know if I should issue an apology because City lost, but Sterling centre mid or just in front of the midfielders, everything was just a bit confused. And not maybe, but Guardiola in the past has been accused of overthinking. Obviously, they've played Chelsea in the Champions League final in a few weeks. Do you think that because of that fixture, he doesn't want to give away what he might be thinking for that match? Because that formation and the selection was just a bit off.
Yeah, it was off, but winning games like that, as a player, you want to win that game because you know you're going to play them again.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of Chelsea, I think it was a great win. Whereas now, but they can't be complacent because City are just going to be even better in the next game. And we know that it's going to turn up the gears. So maybe it was tactical from Pep. Obviously, they're not going to lose the league. There's one win away. So they're still going to win the league. And he'll just bear that in mind when it comes to the final. He's going to make sure that they win that final. So it's actually scary now what's going to happen come May 29th.
I would say, though, they have 3 games remaining. I know Newcastle is one, and apparently they're a decent side now. They beat Leicester 4-2, and who's to say they won't go and beat Manchester City? If Manchester City win one more game, obviously they win the league, but you never know what can happen. We obviously have to win our remaining fixtures. We've got Leicester tomorrow, Liverpool on Thursday, and I don't know who we have after that, but I can see us winning our remaining games, like all of them. And if City want to maybe focus on the Champions League, just do us a little favor and give us the Premier League title, lose a couple of games, that would be great.
And
the title's not off.
League. I'm just looking at the table because I want to digest this.
We're at the moment we're 10 points behind.
If we win, we have 4 games after the season, so we could get 12 points. If City lose lose 1 and draw 2, then we're level on points.
It'd have to be goal difference, and we're not doing that again.
Okay, we lose in goal difference, so we need City to lose all their games, and if we win all our games, we win by 2 points.
Yeah,
82 to 80.
It's something that I just want to bring up something else as well. It's to do with Manchester United.
You have to be optimistic.
Yeah, well, I'm Mr. Optimistic. That's what I'm going to change my name to on this. But I was talking to my friends, the Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans, in the group chat earlier. Manchester United get criticized way too much. Too much criticism is aimed at Manchester United. Maybe it's trendy or fashionable to drag us down, but we're not as far off as people think. We are 10 points behind City, potentially 7 if we beat Leicester tomorrow, and then even closer, 4 points if we beat Liverpool on Thursday. People speak about Manchester United as if we're sitting 8th or 9th in the table, knocked out of Europe, potentially no trophies, players aren't performing. We have Rashford this season, 20 goals and 15 assists. Bruno Fernandes, 27 goals and 17 assists. Paul Pogba's been one of the best midfielders in the league this season. Harry Maguire, yes, we have criticised him a lot on this channel, but I know for a fact I don't, and I know for a fact Ibs doesn't. You don't unfairly criticise players. You criticise players when they deserve the criticism and there's room for improvement and they're not performing at the level they should be. Maguire has been steadily one of the best centre-backs in the league this year. Ruben Diaz gets all the praise for his slide tackles and last-ditch tackles, but where's the praise for Wan-Bissaka? Luke Shaw, criminally underrated. Fred and McTominay, I'm going to allow them because, you know, they're not the best, but they're doing the best that they can.
They're doing what they can.
Yeah, they are. Edinson Cavani, when he came in, I would admit I was one of the players. I wish. I was one of the people who thought, why are we bringing in Cavani? Why is he getting the number 7? Are they trying to, you know, make fun of the fans? Are they doing this on purpose? But again, one of the best strikers in the league this season. He's added so much quality to our front line. He's improved Greenwood. He's teaching him. You can see what he's doing with Greenwood. Greenwood's movement has improved this season. He's one of the best aerial attackers in the league this season. Our whole team is very, very close to winning the Premier League. 2 or 3 players, and as I said a couple of weeks ago, 10 draws instantly turns into 5, maybe 6 draws. That's 8 to 10 more points, and then look, we're close.
We are actually very close. Because as you said, the way people talk about our club is as if like we're so far like worse than we are. We're only 10 points away, potentially, as you said, potentially 7 points. And if City lose 1, draw 2, that's realistic. But the thing is, they're playing Newcastle, Brighton, Everton. So that's 5-0 against Newcastle, 5-0 against Brighton, and like 2-0 against Everton.
Nah, man, Everton. Everton for me is Ancelotti. It's not Everton. if Everton go to is it? I don't know if it's at Goodison Park or not, but if Everton take points from Manchester City, it's a possibility. Newcastle, as I just said a couple of minutes ago, 4-2 against Leicester. Nobody expected that. The Premier League, anything can happen. We are on 4 losses. Manchester City are on 5. They're the best team the world has ever seen, apparently, but they've lost 5 games this season. They're only a few wins ahead of us. There's levels to this.
Yeah, it's true.
We're not that far off.
You can only hope.
I'm dreaming.
Hope for Danny Welbeck hat-trick when they play Brighton. Hope for Callum Wilson brace when they play Newcastle. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin to regain his form. Obviously, he scored yesterday, but then he can carry it on. Help us out.
He scored the winner against West Ham, actually.
Yeah. And obviously, Liverpool, they beat Southampton 2-0 on Saturday. So, yeah, they're still in the top 4 race. They can still... Yeah, even though they've had such a bad season, they've obviously clawed their way back into top 4 contention. And I still don't think they'll get Europa League, but at least they're still fighting. They haven't given up.
The Europa League next season is going to be full of world-class players. Van Dijk, Thiago, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Ronaldo, don't mention Europa League and Ronaldo. Ronaldo's not going to Europa League.
If Juventus qualify for Europa League, I think he's
not playing. He's not playing in Europa League. That's a tarnish on his name.
Yeah,
Imagine Europa League, Cristiano Ronaldo. That's too many fans. That's too many fans just to watch Europa League. He can't do that to himself. He has to come to Man U, come home. And also, I mean, there's not really much to say about the Liverpool game. People saying that Thiago is one of the best in the league just because of that one performance against Southampton.
Games, yeah.
It
was.
I don't want to
taking him way too long. All I'm saying is Paul Pogba is clear. Paul Pogba has proven himself this season, and he is clear. I'd say Thiago maybe is top 5 in the league this season, but it's taking him way too long. I think.
Top 5. I don't even know if he's top 5.
I'd have to say that because
Pogba. If it's midfielders, Pogba, Bruno, De Bruyne, Gundogan, yeah, of course, and
is Fabinho better than
Declan Rice?
Nah, let's not go there.
Yeah, Thiago, so he's not even top 5.
He's still a baller. Thiago is still a baller. Let's not forget who he is, the quality he possesses. It's just this season for Liverpool in general hasn't been good, obviously, but he hasn't been the best. And I think when he first came into Liverpool, there was obviously a buzz of excitement around the camp, the fans, the players were excited to bring a player of his quality in, but I don't think he's lived up to his name this year. Maybe next year will be different.
Yeah, he still needs to obviously adjust. It's his first season in the Prem. Prem is very different to Bundesliga. So obviously he's had to adjust. And he still had a good season, but obviously could have been better. And Wolves-Brighton, I was watching that game, and Brighton were on like the back foot. Wolves were literally dominating the game. Obviously, Brighton had that one corner, and obviously their captain scored. And since then, Wolves just didn't look like the team. We've spoken about this in a few episodes that they don't look like the team from last season. Obviously, Jimenez missing, Jota, who's gone to Liverpool. Neto, he was doing well this season, got injured. And Traore was on the bench. So it's such a weird Wolves team and a weird situation that they're in at the moment. But obviously, they still managed to get the win. Traore came off the bench and scored. And then they had a last-minute winner from Morgan Gibbs-White. But yeah, overall, I don't know what to say about Wolves overall this season.
I think similar to Sheffield United, not on the same level, but I think they suffered from overachieving too soon. When they first came up to the Premier League, they had a lot of Portuguese players, mainly down to their manager and George Mendes having such an important role in their transfers. But when they first came up, I don't know what position they finished, but definitely in the top 8. And then we thought that was their level, but it's clearly not. Their brand of football, I don't think suits the players they have. You have players like Neto, Traore, Jimenez, Moutinho, creative players who could easily slot into teams that are able to play on the front foot for the whole match. But Wolves are a team, especially when they play against the bigger sides, they sit back, they soak up all the pressure and want to hit teams on the counter. I don't think the players they have are good enough for that. Yes,
Mm.
Cody is a good centre back. Leandro Dendoncker is a decent centre back, primarily a defensive midfielder. They have Willy Bolly, I think his name is. Yeah, they have decent players, but I don't think they're good enough. I don't think they've invested that well in their defensive line. They brought in Nelson Semedo from Barcelona. If you're just looking at that transfer on paper, you think, yeah, that's a really good signing, but I don't think he's been that good this season. And they also brought in Marcel, I don't know how to pronounce his name, from Lyon. Experienced player, but never really been that good. I don't think they're underperforming or overperforming. I think they're at the level they should be with the players they have and the manager they have and the style of football they play. Well, that's my view on it anyway.
Yeah, I agree with the players they have this season, who have played this season. This is their level. But if they had Jimenez or Neto fully fit for the whole season, I think they'd expect, and I think their fans would expect them to be much higher in the league. Obviously, they've lost Jota, so I mean, then you expect to fall back down. But they're currently in 12th, and it's not too bad because obviously 9th place Arsenal, 10th place Leeds, 11th Aston Villa. Not too bad considering the teams that are above them. You would expect the teams above them to be there. So I mean, overall, it's not too bad, but obviously, based on how they were last season, overachieving, it is obviously, it might be a disappointment to some of their fans.
Yeah, I think that's just, again, harsh reality of the Premier League. It's brutal. It will chew you up and spit you out. It doesn't matter where you finished in the previous season. You have to do it all again, and nothing is deserved, and you don't deserve anything. Wolves have to improve. Their style of play has to change. I think it's too negative, and I think it's too maybe pragmatic. I don't know what the right word is. But speaking on Jota, I think maybe he realized this team isn't for me. Yes, I moved to them from Porto when they're in Championship, got them to the Premier League, got them Europa League football. But when a bigger, better team comes calling, I think you have to, it doesn't matter what they've done for you, you have to move on. And Neto's definitely going to move on. Neves is only 23, I think. He's definitely going to move on. Coutinho, someone like that, is going to stay. Their backline's probably going to stay. Fabio Silva, even, give it a couple of years and he won't be there anymore. I think, as much as I hate to say, or much as Wolves fans might not like me saying this, they're not the best side, and they're a feeder side to the bigger clubs who need up-and-coming players like Jota and Neto, who were just not good enough for, title-winning sides or anything like that, but players that can come in and improve everybody and then eventually become that player. Someone like Sadio Mane when he was at Southampton. Yeah. I think their level is maybe 8th, 12th, 8th to 13th. That's where they'll be finishing for the next few years, I think.
Yeah, and it's great that you mentioned 8th to 13th because Arsenal just defeated West Brom 3-1, which moves them up to 9th place. That's their level at the moment. And obviously West Brom are currently relegated now. Second team to be confirmed relegated. Big Sam couldn't do the Great Escape, and I think this is his first time being relegated.
Yeah, first time as a Premier League manager being relegated. So a good achievement. Considering the amount of teams he's helped survive relegation to last that long, I think it's
fair enough. Yeah, I think it was a very uphill battle for West Brom. They were close, but they just couldn't do it. They had some great results, obviously against Chelsea. That was one of the standout results they had, but they just couldn't do it. They just haven't been good enough throughout the whole season, and obviously now they're going back down after just being promoted this season.
I think, the match between Fulham and Burnley just kicked off. I think if Fulham lose this match and Southampton avoid a loss in their next game, Fulham are relegated. So Fulham match right now, it's a must win. Obviously, all of their matches, they have to win all of their matches to even have a chance of surviving just on goal difference alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a tough one. The Premier League is brutal, man.
It's funny because Arsenal played so well, and if you're an Arsenal fan, you'd be wondering, why couldn't we get these goals? Why couldn't Pepe do this? Why couldn't he just dribble past someone and smack it top corner against Villarreal, all they needed was 1 goal. But now they score 3 goals against West Brom when they really could have used those goals against Villarreal and at least could have got Champions League football by getting to the Europa League
had
final.
a chance.
But as just Arsenal, I don't know what Arsenal think of their manager Arteta, because it's very up and down. I don't know if the majority think Arteta out or they're by his side.
This might be one for TikTok. Actually, I'm going to say this because it's a live stream. But if Arsenal were to get to the Champions League final, Manchester United, given their points this season, we can't fall out of the top 4. So we've guaranteed Champions League football for next year. If Arsenal got to the final of the Europa League and then we won the Europa League, would they give the Champions League spot to Arsenal?
Why would they give it to Arsenal?
Because we've qualified for the Champions League already.
Yeah, but why would it go to them if they lost?
I don't know. Something in my head made me think that it will go to the team.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it
always
does.
Only goes to the winner.
Yeah, but when we win it, because I'm very confident we'll win it, that Champions League spot that gets given to the winner of the Europa League will go to the next place side in our league. But if Arsenal were in that final, because we've already qualified for the Champions League, would it have been possibly given to them? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get what you mean, but wouldn't it just go to 5th place?
That's what I'm confused about. I've always been a bit edgy.
That would have been funny if it did.
Arsenal would get torn apart in the Champions League. They're not ready for it. As much fun as it is poking fun at them, they're not ready for the Champions League. If they were to qualify for the Champions League miraculously, they wouldn't be able to do it. They don't have the players for it. They don't have the quality of coach, Mikel Arteta. Well, by the way, Ole, Lampard and Arteta, all of the comments, all of the hate, all of the jokes that were getting poked at our BEE teacher, look what he's doing. Second place in the Premier League.
Where's Arteta? Where's Lampard? Lampard's not even in the league anymore.
Exactly. Ole's doing us proud.
I think Arteta's the PE teacher because he's the one that he was the assistant coach at Man City, and then I think one week Man City played with a false 9. The next week Arteta copied it, trying to put Pepe in a false 9, and it didn't work.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny to laugh at, but I think the morning after or the afternoon after Arsenal got knocked out of the Europa League, after I was done laughing and all of that, I really sat down and thought about how bad it is for them right now. I mean, the fall off they've had. I saw a tweet earlier today as well, was talking about once the Henry and Wenger hype has worn off, Arsenal were done. Arsenal were a finished club. I can't see them even scraping Europa League football next season.
No, I think it's best that they don't get any European football because they just need to focus and regroup and just form a team from the bottom up. Because getting European football is a distraction, and they don't need that in the moment.
They're not a club that can handle that many games and that much pressure. I don't think. Not at the moment. At least.
Definitely, especially if fans were in the stadium.
Oh, it'll be way worse. Because Arsenal, you know, fair play and credit. You got to give credit where it's due. Their fans, especially inside the stadium, when something's not right, they do let it known, and they're good at voicing their opinion. The protests were a bit, meaty, but not everyone could be Manchester United.
Yeah, as you said, like if the fans were in the stadium and they're playing how they play, I remember at one point when I first Emery was there, that fans just didn't attend their games. I remember seeing I think they were in the Europa League at the time, and then the stadium's just empty. Fans just don't turn up, and that's a big statement at a club like Arsenal. And yeah, it's a shame how they've fallen off so much from qualifying, getting 4th every season, to now not even getting in the top 7. And I think, I saw a tweet as well saying, would Arsenal fans take Arsene Wenger back, or was it too soon to get rid of Arsene Wenger? And I think it wasn't
too soon. I think it was the right time to get rid of Arsene Wenger. It's just when you bring in a new manager, especially after a manager that's been there for that long, everything at Arsenal was Arsene Wenger. Literally everything, the staff, the players. I can't think of anything else on the top of my head, but It was Arsene Wenger. You have to give a new manager everything he wants straight away, whether that's, do you want a different training pitch? Do you want new staff? Do you want new players? You have to be ready to do that and fund him. They didn't. And then you're stuck with a manager who's not a bad manager, by the way. He won, I want to say 3 in a row with Sevilla for the Europa League, or 2. He's a serial winner. He knows how to win trophies. When you bring a manager like that in with experience, you have to give him what he wants, because he has the CV and he has the Wikipedia page and he has the very recent experience. That was their wrongdoing, and that's again down to the owners, and that's again why Arsenal have been protesting along with teams like Manchester United. Same thing happened with David Moyes at Manchester United. Everything at our club was Sir Alex Ferguson, because they'd been there for that long. When you move on, everything has to move on. You can't just replace one thing and not replace anything else, because then it's not going to work. There's no connection. It's like I'm playing with someone else's toys. I don't like it. It's not going to work. I don't know how to play with these toys.
Yeah,
you have to bring in your own
is slowly doing at the moment.
Yeah. If Oli was to be here for another 2 or 3 years, almost everything at Manchester United would be Oli. And then the next manager, if they're not backed, would have the same problem. It's football and it happens. It's just nowadays managers, I don't think, are given that much time to implement not just their own style of play, because you can do that in a month, which you've seen with a team like Chelsea and Tuchel. But they have to be able to implement their philosophy on not just the team, but the club. The managers prefer things. They're humans. They have habits. They have tendencies and things that they like, things that will make them work better. And when managers are here for 12 or 18 months, you don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
Which is why I think Arsenal should keep Arteta.
that's a valid point, as you said, because everything has to work how he wants it for him to thrive in that position.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what's happening with Oli now. We still go a goal behind, as we always do away from home, but it's never in doubt. We're not going to lose away from home. And obviously you won 3-1 yesterday against Aston Villa. When a goal down, Lindelof, very weak defending, and it was a fantastic finish from, what's his name?
Bertrand Traore.
Traore, another Traore, yeah. It was a great finish from him. And I was just waiting for half time, because whatever he says at half time, I just wanted the second half to begin. And I just knew that we're going to win the game. Next thing you know, Bruno Fernandes penalty. Yeah, he always just turns up and just gets the penalty and the scores. And then from there, the game was won. Greenwood, Cavani.
Yeah. Talk about the Aston Villa goal. I don't think it was bad defending from Lindelof. He managed to tackle him of some sorts, but when you're in the box, if that was outside the box, Lindelof maybe is a bit strong with him. Maybe he sticks out a leg, but because it's in the box, you're basically there at an angle like that, especially to block the shot. I didn't expect the shot to come that early, and I didn't expect the shot to be that good. Great strike. I don't think you can take anything away from Henderson or Lindelof, really. Maybe could have been a bit stronger. But yeah, one thing, we are, I think, 2 away games that we don't lose away from equaling Arsenal's record of 27, I think. And whatever you think of Oli, I know we haven't won the league, but it's an amazing record that stood for almost 2 decades, or just over 2 decades. I can't remember exactly what year it was. But Bruno Fernandes is inevitable. 27 goals, 17 assists this season. 1 goal contribution left to equaling Frank Lampard's record of 27 goals and 18 assists from the 09-10 season. He's going to beat it. We have 5 games left.
Yeah, of course.
He's insane. Call me crazy, but if he's in with a shout for the Ballon d'Or, I don't see a problem with that. I don't see how it's not deserved.
He would be on a list. He'll be on the Ballon d'Or list,
and he will get votes.
Yeah, especially if we win Europa League, he could potentially. Okay, he wouldn't win it. The winner would go to someone who's won the Champions League. So it'll be like a De Bruyne or someone like that.
This is the year of the Euros as well. If you win European competition, if Fernandes wins if he breaks Lampard's record, if you're looking at someone that's got 30 goals and 20 assists, if he gets 50 goal contributions or whatever, he wins the Europa League and he goes on to either get to the final or win the Euros. What's to say that he can't even be in the top 5 or the top 4 for the Ballon d'Or? It's something which I think people are going to have to realize, and it all goes back to me saying, why do we get so much hate? He's one of the best midfield. He's one of the best players in the world, one of the best in his position, just behind De Bruyne, obviously. But with his personal achievements, his Player of the Month awards, and his goals and assists, he's been able to carry us to almost win the Europa League. He's an amazing player, and I don't see why he can't be in with a chance.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, he was man of the match yesterday. Wan-Bissaka got an assist, another assist for Mason Greenwood. Yeah. Southgate was at the match yesterday.
Yeah.
And he has to be seeing Wan-Bissaka's improvements because he's going further up the pitch, getting obviously past the ball to Greenwood, who scored. So got the assist for that. And obviously he's defending. He had that tackle against Watkins, which would have been a goal. And yeah, Southgate's in the crowd. Why can't he? Needs to. I think Wan-Bissaka could potentially be in the squad for England.
I think
Southgate might change his mind.
I can't see him changing his mind. Southgate's way too stubborn. He has to be in the squad. I don't think he should be left out at all. I think him, Trent, and Walker should be the 3 right backs if you're going to take 3. But I can't see him getting in. I think it might be too little, too late from Southgate's point of view. I think the same might go for Greenwood. Greenwood fully deserves to be in the squad. He's having a great end to the season. He's now Manchester United's all-time top Premier League scorer as a teenager. He deserves to be in the Euros, but I can't see him. Maybe he might make the 26.
I think he will. I think Greenwood. If it's not Wan-Bissaka, then Greenwood definitely.
I don't know, man. Southgate is
because you see the way he just turned Mings. Mings is probably going to be in that. Do you think Mings is in that squad?
He definitely is in that squad.
Yeah. Mings so the way he just turned Mings, he's meant to be in the squad, and just finished it. Why can't he do that against other centre backs in Europe?
He will. He can, but he just won't get the chance. He won't get the opportunity. Not this year. If he manages to replicate the form of last season and this season and actually do it from the first whistle of the first game next season to the last whistle of the last game, then he earns his place in the World Cup squad. But Southgate is stubborn. It's a thing with Man United players. Luke Shaw's only just managed to get back in the England squad. Way too late. Rashford's always been there because it's Rashford. He's a star boy. He's a darling boy of English football. Greenwood was there, makes one mistake and he's not allowed back in. Wan-Bissaka's been called up once, but he had to pull out through a back injury. He's never been called back in, even though he's been one of the best right backs in the world for about 18 months. It's Manchester United. It's the curse that we have on our club. We get criticised by fans, by pundits, and apparently the quality in our players isn't even seen by the England manager.
Yeah, it's crazy. We just have to wait and see when that announcement actually happens. But announcement which happened a few hours ago, Edison Cavani, contract extension, 1-year extension. Obviously, he scored yesterday, assist from Rashford, great header. He is a striker. He's a number 9. He's exactly what we need. And it's good that he's staying an extra year. Yeah. And yeah, I think it's been good that he's decided to stay. And it can only mean that we're going to push for the title next season.
It's just such a shame he's come in at this age. Cavani's been one of the best strikers in Europe for the past decade at the very least. I think when he left Napoli to go to PSG, we could have signed him then. We could have signed him after Van Persie left. We could have signed him even after Rooney left. When we had all those failed strikers, we had Falcao, Di Maria in a sense. You bring in someone like Cavani who's he's a natural goal scorer. He's a natural born finisher. His movement, I don't know why it's taken so long for people to realize how good his movement is. He's been playing Champions League football for years, and people are only now talking about him.
And it's so simple. His movement just looks simple.
Yeah.
He just peels off the back of the defender, and it's a goal.
It's like they can't see him. It's like his hair flicks in their eyes for a second, and they can't see him go. It's such a shame he came so late in his career, but I'm so glad that he's staying for another year at least, because then all it means is we don't have to focus on bringing in a new striker. We can save that money and bring in maybe an extra player. We can get the centre back, DM, and right winger, and hopefully when he leaves, maybe Greenwood will be ready to step in, not be as good as Cavani, but good enough to carry that line up front.
I'm still unsure about Greenwood in that number 9 role. I still prefer like a Haaland, or just a Haaland. I think obviously now Cavani's staying. I think Kane is out of the picture. I don't think we'll sign Kane. Even next season we'll sign Kane. But I'm saying Haaland is more of a number. I see him more as a number 9 than Greenwood.
Yeah, obviously
Haaland could still be on the right. Even if we were to get Sancho, I think Greenwood could still play on the right.
Nah, see the thing is, I know there's no room for sentiment. There shouldn't be much room for sentiment in football when you're especially when you're at the top and you're genuinely challenging for the elite competitions and trophies. But Greenwood is a special talent. He's the best player to come out of our academy probably since Ravel Morrison. Best young player I've seen play for Manchester United in years. You don't just say, yeah, we're gonna shift you out into a position that's not natural for you just so we can get someone else. And you make the time and you do think to yourself, we have to make sure that he's used properly, and we have to make sure that he's used as a striker, because that's how he came up. That's his natural position. A year or two, 18 months, 24 months, he's already bulking up. He's already improved this season. He's learning off one of the best strikers in Cavani. I don't see why when Cavani leaves, he can't just slot in there. Yes, he's not going to be scoring 40 goals a season. He's not going to be doing that. Maybe he might. I don't think he will just yet. And yes, he will still have room to grow. But honestly, in 18 months, I'd probably rather have Greenwood than Martial. 1, Greenwood's movement is better. 2, he will be bigger. He's already bigger this season than he was last season. He'll be able to hold up the ball a bit better. 3, his finishing is way better. I think I just said that, or his dribbling is better. I think he'll be better player than Martial, who might be sold. He might get shifted out to the right instead of Greenwood. But you said there, if we have Sancho, you could still see Greenwood on the right. If we have Sancho, Greenwood's not playing, because Sancho is a natural right winger who's streets ahead of Greenwood at the moment.
Yeah, what I can say about Greenwood, obviously he's still eventually going to play in that number 9 role, but it's kind of similar to Rashford in terms of in the academy, they both played out wide and they both played in the middle as well. They weren't necessarily central strikers, both of them. Whereas now, I'd say Greenwood is obviously more of a clinical finisher compared to Rashford. He's a better striker of the ball and scoring goals. So I guess that's why he can play. He's more preferred as a striker compared to Rashford. But I don't think that's like his actual position. Like, you wouldn't say like he's an actual striker, because he has, in the academy, he was playing on the wing or in the 9 sometimes.
He's an attacker.
He still has to learn. He still has to learn that role. Obviously, the movements, the heading. Obviously, he's all learning that from Cavani. So I think obviously having Cavani here for next year season is just very good for the youth players who are coming through at the moment.
Yeah, and I think I don't know much about Greenwood. Obviously, he's young. I don't know much about his attitude or anything like that. But hopefully, he'll appreciate the fact that Cavani's here and appreciate that he's able to watch him every day. And hopefully he actually thinks to himself, yeah, I'm going to have to watch him. I'm going to try and copy what he does so I can improve my game. But I don't know if that's happening or not. But hopefully it does. But yeah, as you said, you don't think striker is his actual position. He's able to play off left, right striker, even behind the striker. And so is Rashford. I feel like the modern way of being an attacker is being able to play all the positions to a high level. Yeah. And that's what Greenwood can do. But I'd love to see him. I'd love to have a front line of Rashford on the left, Greenwood up front, and Sancho on the right. It would be, it'd be devastating. Yeah.
All English front 3. That'll be crazy.
Yeah, so you got homegrown talent.
But what is crazy is that we played yesterday and they're playing tomorrow against Leicester. Leicester, obviously, they have the FA Cup final on, I think it's Sunday or Saturday against Chelsea. And then, obviously, we just played yesterday against Aston Villa. So, squad rotation. Is Bruno going to play another game?
I don't want him to.
I don't know what Ollie has in plan. Youth players: Diallo, Shortire, Brandon Williams.
Players like Tellez, he's going to have to start.
Yep,
because
Tellez.
I'm honestly more thinking about the Liverpool game.
Yeah,
I'd rather play the strongest team than
of
against
course.
Leicester. I'm looking at obviously Maguire's out.
Yeah,
He might miss Europa League final as well. Wouldn't rush him back for that, but he might miss Europa League final. You're looking at Twanzebe, Lindelof, or Bailly Lindelof.
I think it should be. I say Bailly, Twanzebe, because I think Lindelof. I don't know if he still has a back problem.
He should be rested for Liverpool.
Yeah, so resting for Liverpool. So I'd say play Bailly and Twanzebe, Brandon Williams on the right, and Tellez on the left.
I would start Wan-Bissaka because although he's gonna, I would start him and then bring him off. There is, because Brandon Williams isn't at the level. He's not. He's not like. I think some players, obviously, it's not going to be a whole different 11, and I think that's what a lot of people think is going to happen. It's going to be 9 changes. There's probably going to be about 3 or 4, and then once hopefully the game is sealed or we're in a comfortable position to make substitutions like Brandon Williams, we'll do that. But I wouldn't start Brandon Williams.
So just midfield. Okay, so midfield. Do you think it'll be like Matic?
Yeah,
McTominay.
It'll be Matic and one of McFred. Maybe Van der Beek will start instead of Matic.
Van der Beek. No, I think Van der Beek will start instead of Bruno.
I don't think Bruno will get rested. He'll start and then come off because he needs a break
so much.
He needs a break, but at the moment he's on form, and if you play him just for 45 or 50 minutes, 60 minutes, you give him the opportunity to have a rest.
We've had 2 days rest. We would have had 2 days rest since kickoff is at 6. So it does seem like it's only 1 day. However, it is 2 days in total. Yeah. So yeah, we still could have a strong team. As I said, Bruno probably will start. Dan James
injured.
He's injured. Oh,
yeah.
It's unlucky. I wanted to see that guy run down the wing.
He looks down to make sure his laces aren't untied so it doesn't trip over.
Who else do we have then?
We have Amad Diallo, Anthony. Yeah. Elanga's been on the bench a couple of times recently, so maybe he might get a couple of minutes, and that would, I think, entirely depend on whether we're comfortable. Because you wouldn't bring him on if we're losing. You wouldn't bring Elanga on, who's never played a senior minute of football to senior football to rescue the game. You wouldn't do that. That would be unfair. But I can see Diallo starting. I could even see Van der Beek starting on the wing,
and then Greenwood up top.
Yeah, I think Cavani
wouldn't start. Greenwood is more likely to start. Maybe Rashford might come on later.
Is Martial still injured as well? He's back in training. Maybe he might be on the bench.
Do you think I don't know if Ollie would start Ahmad.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've had opportunities to start him, even in the Europa League, and he hasn't done it.
What Ollie would do, Ollie would play Greenwood. The front three would be Greenwood, Rashford, and Van der Beek. And then Bruno, McTominay or Fred, and Matic.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Tellez should start, although I think Luke Shaw will start because Luke Shaw's Luke Shaw, and he's probably been our most consistent player this season. And he doesn't honestly look like he's getting tired.
Luke Shaw is just another 8 out of 10 performance.
Yeah.
He's just immense. And if his form continues to the Euros, England should have a good Euros.
We have honestly one of the best defenses. We have Shaw on the left, Trent on the right. It should be Trent on the right. Our right backs are some of the best in Europe. Walker's one of the best. Trent's the best. Wan-Bissaka's up there. Left back in Luke Shaw. He's one of the best. We should be fine. And Luke Shaw should be fine to play tomorrow and against Liverpool.
Tellez should start there.
Tellez should start, but I don't think he will. If Tellez plays, it's because he comes on for Luke Shaw. You start your good players because remember, Leicester are Leicester. They're not a bad team.
Yeah,
they're up there. They've been one of the best teams in the league this season. Whether or not they fall out of the Champions League, they're still one of the top 5 teams in the country.
But if
So
you're saying
you
we
have to
start
show
our
them
good
respect.
players, if you're saying we start our good players, that means Pogba's going to start as well.
Yeah, and start Pogba. Remember, these players, they're professional players. They're
Yeah.
world-class athletes. Pogba's been doing these type of fixtures for years now.
Yeah, they know how to recover.
Your bodies acclimatized to it.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's true.
someone like, maybe if you signed a player from, I don't know, a different league in Europe, they wouldn't be used to this. So maybe you think, yeah, they can't do this because they've never done this in their career. But our players have. And that's why I guess Ollie's more comfortable with starting Wan-Bissaka every game and Maguire every game and Fernandes every game, because the fixture congestion is something that they've become used to and they can actually handle it. We wouldn't be able to do it. I started playing football a couple of weeks ago. My groins are still tight. I can barely run down the road.
I'm just picking up injuries. Like,
we can't do it.
I played. What was it? Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 1 week. Actually, no, that was last week. I didn't even play on the Saturday because like, nah, I'm not forcing this injury.
Yeah,
but these guys, these pros, like they have obviously proper injury. Like they have proper stretches, rehab, massages, icing, so they recover very quickly.
Yeah, today probably would have just been recovery.
Yeah, they're specialist teams that make sure they're getting the right food and everything, so they will be ready for the game tomorrow. And
yeah,
I expect nothing but 3 points.
Yeah,
gonna keep City,
keep
the
them on
league
their
isn't
toes.
over. Yeah,
it's not over. It's not over until it's over.
Yeah,
until it's mathematically impossible.
And then the rest of the games this week: Southampton, Crystal Palace, and big game Wednesday, Chelsea, Arsenal. I mean, I don't even know to call it a big game because it's still a derby. Chelsea obviously need to get top 4, but I don't know if it's a big game anymore for Chelsea. It's just Arsenal. So it's a top 4 team versus mid-table team. It's a weird clash nowadays.
Remember the days of Drogba versus Arsenal, Fabregas versus Chelsea. Those were the days. But yeah, as you said, it will be less important for Chelsea given Arsenal's position in the league, but it'll be a massive game. It'll be a massive game for Arsenal. I think one of the worst insults you can give is it's not a big game for us, but it's your biggest game of the season.
Yeah, that's how it is for Arsenal.
Yeah, it's it's tight. It's tight, but they get what they deserve. They're in a position they deserve to be in.
And then obviously Sunday. Actually, no, not even Sunday. Thursday. Playing Liverpool on Thursday. So it's a massive week.
We have someone on the weekend, don't we? I'm sure we have someone on the weekend.
We probably do. Probably on Sunday.
It's Tuesday match against Fulham. Tuesday. So we have 4 days rest, I guess, before the match against Fulham. It's going to be a busy week. And I'm hoping that we can get 6 points from the next 2 games. And obviously Manchester City are going to win the league, but we can put genuine pressure on them. Maybe too little, too late, but we can prove to the world that we're not as far off as people make us out to be.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see you probably on Thursday. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you everyone for watching. And yeah, 6 points only. See you. Goodbye.